Hey, what's going on, crowdfunding crusaders? It's
Yes!
the brain of the mainframe, Nile, Scala.
And your old pal. I'm sorry.
And my old pal,
quarantine
sensation, Billy Tucci. How you doing? Last night we had Anthony Max on the show. It's a great Anthony Max, bro.
Bro, I got off the phone. I was so excited after that conversation with Anthony, talking the Green Hornet.
There was Green Hornet, yes.
Green Hornet. And talking Green Hornet. And then, man, I stayed up till like 2:30 in the morning. Just researching the Green Hornet and the idea that the Green Hornet, was, created by the Green Hornet's creators also created the Lone Ranger. And the Green Hornet is actually the great grandson of the Lone Ranger. No,
he's the great grandson of Tonto.
I don't believe you. You're trying to trick me.
I got you. I got you again. You got me thinking. I like comic books, so I don't think you can.
I like comics too, Billy.
Dude, what's with the Pop XP?
I don't know, bro. It's weird.
All right,
it just started showing up.
That for now. But we got a great guest, bro. So why don't you bring him in?
Yeah. So tonight, everyone, we have a great guest, an awesome book, amazing art. The man behind bringing into the Indiegogo realm with great campaigns for the Six Gun Gorilla. We've got Brian Christeau tonight. Brian, how you doing?
Good. Couldn't be better. A little underslept, a little sleep debt, but I got my
sleep dep.
Yeah, I got my caffeine and I got my medically prescribed amphetamine. So I should be lucid.
Oh, fantastic!
We won't be. And
I'm fantastic. I just have coffee and cocaine and a couple of these ecstasy pills. I don't know, but they make me feel great.
Well, that's good. That can only be a good thing.
Fragaboom is Fragaboom here about?
Fragaboom
is in the.
Is he?
Yeah, we got. Yeah.
I love that dude. I love that dude. He is. I do this show with my friend Drew. We do a couple of shows. Drew Aish. He's the guy. He's the Captain Love guy. He and myself and our friend Simon Poitier, who does Blood Hunt, we had Dan on like a few days ago, and he is salt of the earth.
He's a beast.
He's just a dude and ridiculously talented. And it's funny how sometimes like the most talented people are also the most humble. Yeah. And I think it's because they don't have anything to prove,
And he's my best friend.
Is he really?
He's my best.
He's my best friend. Fragaboom.
Fragaboom. Hey, Fragaboom.
He could draw. He could. By the way, what is the profanity policy on this?
It's not rated for children, so please.
Okay.
Just say whatever the fuck you want.
You just can't say shit, piss, fuck, cunt, motherfucker, cocksucker, hooah, and tit.
Gotcha.
Oh, we just
seven dirty words. Yeah, because here's the. Oh man, well, because here's the thing. I grew up having very permissive European parents who let me watch anything on the TV, and I grew up. We were like the first house on the block to have HBO, so I grew up from a very young age listening to Richard Pryor and George Carlin, and so I'm a potty mouth. I'm 51.
So do you remember seeing Logan's Run on HBO and Phantom of the Paradise? Those were some of the movies on, and we were little kids.
Yeah.
I used to watch the Scrambled Spice.
Oh, that's
Spice at the Spice Channel. Was that?
Yes.
Yeah, we had Channel J, which by us.
I would watch it through the squiggly lines, but at like 2 a.m. it would come in pretty clear.
Yeah, you see, we used to call that Skinamax when I was a kid.
It was the Spice. It was the Spice Channel.
Which is like hardcore movies that are edited so that they're softcore movies, right?
I don't know. I only saw what I saw through the lines.
Nice.
Well, it left a lot to the imagination, You got to fill in a lot of the blanks. So.
It's like nipple.
Oh my god,
was that a nipple? I don't know. That seemed pretty low. So Brian, so what the heck?
I'm in good company here.
What the heck got you into comic books?
Wait, hang on, bro. Hang on, man. Hang on. I want to make a thing today. I want to say something that I am drinking a 21-year-old Glenlivet. and we are celebrating the 75th anniversary of Adolf Hitler putting a gun in his mouth and blowing his head off. So,
Amen. Amen.
Amen. World War II.
Cheers to that.
Amen.
And,
Amen.
week left. So, salute.
Hey, man, I'm German. Nobody hates Nazis more than Germans. Let me tell you.
Can you speak German if you have German immigrant parents?
Yeah.
Lieben mein kleiner Affen.
What about loving your what?
Lieben mein kleiner Affen.
Love your little ass?
My little monkey, my little ape.
Affen, Six Gun Affen. 1, 2, 3, 3, 6.
Yeah, the Fedler und das Effler. It's Effler, actually, is how you
going on.
Effler. Well, you know what it's like? It's like
how should I say it? Lieben mein kleiner Effe?
Effler.
Effler. Lieben mein kleiner Effe.
Effler, verdammt.
Lieben mein Schmetterling.
Yeah, and
what's a Schmetterling?
A Schmetterling?
I feel like they're just making up words.
You're just making up words like You're just making up words like Schwanzstucker.
No, Schwarzstucker.
Snickerdoodle.
No, isn't a Schmetterling a butterfly?
No, I grew up in a bilingual household. My parents, they came from Germany. They were little children in Hitler's Europe, and they saw some, they knew what it was like, what it was like to live in a government like that, and luckily their parents taught them well, and their parents were really heroic. Thankfully, no Nazi war criminals in my family. Quite the opposite. But they taught me from a very early age, if certain words came out of my mouth, I didn't get a smack upside the head. They took me aside. My mom took me aside and was just like, here, you got to know about this stuff. And this is what that leads to.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's why our freedoms are so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
it's so funny that people that lived under are the ones that are, a lot of Eastern European as well, that come over since the fall of the Soviet Union. A lot of them that lived through it are the ones that are like, no, you don't realize what you guys are wishing for.
Oh, you can't, if you go to Germany, you can't walk like 20 feet without finding a memorial of some kind, whether it's a Holocaust memorial, or you go to München, of course, there's this beautiful, gorgeous memorial to the White Rose Resistance.
Oh yeah, that's great. That was with the kids, right? A lot of them were teenagers. That would make a great book.
It would. I would love to do it. And the thing is I've actually thought about it. And that's something that I could never do in the mainstream comic book industry. But you know what? I might be able to crowdfund it.
You definitely would be able to crowdfund it. I think it would be applauded for its bravery.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to be, I wouldn't want it to be a virtue signal-y thing. I'd want it to be like, but like, be aware there were Germans who stood up against the Third Reich and paid for it with their lives.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, and that's another thing that my parents taught me, is that in hard times like that, you will see heroes turn into cowards, but you will also see cowards turn into heroes. So, I like to think that most of us, if not all of us, have got it in us somewhere.
God bless your parents, man.
Yeah, I love them.
Really amazing.
Yeah, they raised me right. They raised me right.
They sure did. So where do you live, buddy?
I live in Rockland County. About
shit.
Yeah, it's just a stone's throw from the city. All my friends in the city, they call this upstate.
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about, Billy?
Yeah, I'm from Long Island, so we call you upstate too, but not really. Rockland County
is what I'm saying, right?
Rockland County is where like Maxwell Parrish used to live, and he painted up there. I mean, that's where Maxwell Parrish lived, I think, in Rockland County.
Walt Simonson lives in Walton.
Yes, a lot of guys did, and a lot of creatives up there.
Oh yeah, you know who? Total non sequitur. I'm like, I used to go to the community college here ages and ages and ages, nameless eons ago, and so I still get their newsletters and all that crap. And they sent me a catalog for their adult learning, and I'm just flipping through it. I don't know why, what possessed me. Normally just goes right in the garbage. I'm flipping through it, and I see a course on writing comic books being taught by Dennis O'Neil.
Oh wow!
Really? Oh wow!
And I was like, sold.
Yeah.
And I had already read his book on writing comics. I was just there just to be in the presence of the man, just to hear the stories.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, what an awesome guy! Yeah, he lives in Nyack.
Oh, all right, groovy. Yeah. You don't sound like you're from New York, though.
No, well, that's because it's interesting because people, like when I was a kid, they thought I was like from England. I don't know what it is because my parents, they spoke Queen's English. So because think about it, people that from other parts of the world, when they learn English, they don't learn American, they learn English, right? They learn Queen's English,
right?
And so you meet a guy from Frankfurt or Dusseldorf, and he'll be like, "Hello, Governor."
So where is your family? Is that where your family is from? Dusseldorf?
No. My family is from. My mother comes from a town called Rügen, which means rye, which is now a part of Poland, and they were like right on the border. And my father comes from Bavaria, from München.
München, and is that Munich?
Munich.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, where they have that the fairy tale castle.
Yeah.
Neuschwanstein, the one that the Disney castle is based on. Yeah. That King Ludwig II, the Mad King Ludwig, bankrupted the country building that thing.
Dude, we gotta go next. I don't know about this September, but maybe next September 2021 for Oktoberfest.
Oh,
what do you think? We'll go, man.
Dude, I'm a pescatarian, right? That means I'm pretty much a vegetarian who eats fish. Going to Oktoberfest and looking at all the Wurst. I could partake in the beer though. Oh my god! and the beer, and the Sauerbraten. If you never had
Sauerbraten, maybe we can meet some Harina Macafraus.
Oh my god! Oh, the beer Mädchen. Yeah.
Harina Macafrau.
Oh my goodness! Oh, the girls are so beautiful in Germany. Oh, I want to move there.
Well, my wife is of German descent. My wife is German, Lithuanian, Polish, Norwegian, and me.
Oh my god.
She's a lovely woman. She's a lovely woman.
A lovely woman.
Scares the shit out of me. I feel safe. In public, I feel safe.
Do you?
Oh god. Yeah, it's
Fraulein. She was Fraulein.
Fraulein.
So, anywho, Billy, I am going to jump on the topic because we do have another guest that we have to get onto the show.
Lieben mein kleiner Efflin?
Effle.
Lieben mein kleiner Effler.
Yes.
Effle.
Yes.
And even the English could be like, Lieben mein...
What?
That's why
gentlemen.
All right, let's focus on your badass book, bro. Herrenberg. Is Herrenberg German? He's saying something here.
I don't know. We went over this with Herrenberg.
Instead of ich and licht. That's their shibboleth.
Oh, like gibberish, but it's shibboleth?
Yeah.
Lee Ditzworth says I still have an unpaid parking ticket somewhere from Munich from the second time it's October.
God bless you, sir. God bless you. Oh my God, man. Oh,
next time he goes there, once he lands at the airport, they're like, "Whoop! Oh no, he's being hauled off."
Tell you, man, Oktoberfest.
Sneeze.
That's a pot. Hey.
Oh, I've heard. Man, I would love to go.
And Spirit Scars says good Aryan stock. Actually, there's no such thing as Aryans. Aryans don't exist.
That was a made-up thing, right?
Totally made up thing. Because the Nazis were all heavily into pseudoscience called eugenics, which is complete and utter bullshit, of course. Mm-hmm. There's only one species of human being.
There's only one race.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
And Jackie, and that's what they said in the 1936 Olympics. They said Jackie
Robinson.
No, not Jackie Robinson.
Not Jackie Robinson. Fucking
Jesse Owens. And he said Jesse Owens is a credit to his race, the human race. That was Morrow said it. The newscast, the U.S. The U.S. newsreel guy.
Word.
Which was really big in 1936, and they've said that. across, on the news, the newsreels they had.
Yeah.
And America. I'm sure in Germany they didn't do that, but
And then you had Max Schmeling versus Schmeling. Max Schmeling. You remember he boxed
Lewis
Joe Louis
twice.
Yeah, and he had nothing but respect for Joe Louis.
Yeah, they became lifelong friends because he was drafted, and then he actually was a paratrooper. He was a Fallschirmjäger, and he dropped into Crete in the invasion of Crete.
Yep.
And but he wasn't. He was he was pretty anti-Nazi, and he ended up having that great career, right? Running Coca-Cola in Germany, I think, and most of Western Europe or something like that.
Yep.
And him and Jesse remained lifelong friends, right?
Yep.
Isn't that true?
Yep. He went in the ring having nothing but respect for him, and came out of the ring having gotten his ass beaten. I mean,
he beat Joe Louis the first time, and then all the radios, Goebbels in the second fight when Louis knocked him out.
That's right.
And they were like, 6, 7, 8, 9, and he cut all the radio feed to Germany. Yeah, he ordered it cut.
Yep. Goebbels, what a piece of crap.
Yeah, and Joe Louis served in the United States Army too. Two veterans of their respective countries.
Yep.
Wild, huh? Wild times.
Yep. Niall's hating us right now for staying off topic.
I'm steaming.
Steaming right now. Also, I don't want to eat into any other creators' time. That's for dang sure.
That's for dang sure. What time is he coming? Is he coming on, Nile?
He's on in 13 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I got 13 minutes then.
Yeah,
13 minutes. Give or take a few.
With you, and then we'll move on to him.
Yeah.
And let's have some fun here, right?
Yeah, I just want to, I'm all for that, but I also, don't want to take any time away from my fellow indie creators, because we're all folks with a dream, and we really appreciate.
Let me ask you: Are you into any form of gaming or anything like that?
I could honestly say that in junior high school, Dungeons and Dragons helped save my life.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. It was really bad. I had it was really yeah. If it wasn't for Dungeons and Dragons, horror movies, and comic books, we wouldn't be having this conversation. It's always fun and interesting when, like, every 20, 30 years, you have like these witch hunts where people are blaming suicide or murder on art, whether it's heavy metal records or comic books or movies or video games. Art doesn't cost lives, it saves lives. And I'm living proof of that. And you asked me before, like with comic books, I was lucky to have an older brother who gave me his hand-me-downs. This was at the very end of the monster culture craze of the 60s, right? Where Universal Studios was showing their shock theater package, which they gave, which went to like every like local TV station. It was about, I think, like 28 Universal monster movies. And the Munsters was on TV, and the Addams Family and the Aurora Monster model kits were in the stores.
Oh my God,
Filmland. And I just remember going to the mom and pop shop that was within walking distance of my house in Suffern, New York, and going in mainly to like buy candy and seeing the comic book rack. And I was already a comic book fan, and this is when all the Marvel monster comics were out.
Yeah.
Right. DC had Swamp Thing. Marvel had, Morbius, the Living Vampire, Tomb of Dracula,
Werewolf by Night.
That
was my favorite.
Yeah, me too. Mine too. Monster of Frankenstein, which was being illustrated by my favorite comic book illustrator of all time, Mike Plug. And and that's how I started falling in love with comics. There was a cemetery right next door. I'd walk in with pocket change. I'm old. I remember this. I could walk in with like a fistful of change, throw that down, walk out with a stack of comic books and some beef jerky and some candy, and would just go right next door to the cemetery and sit down and read all day. And that is, those are some of my fondest memories. And I've been in love with comic books ever since. It's been a love affair, you know.
That's great. Now I see that you have your famous Monsters of Filmland shirt on.
I do, actually.
That is
one of them.
Yeah, one of them. I was actually in Famous Monsters of Filmland.
No.
Yes, I think it's issue number 151, and it was. Remember, you had to get the movie. You had to get what they had a still from a film.
Yeah.
I guessed it, and it was David Bowie from The Man Who Fell to Earth, and I wrote it in, and it said Billy Tucci. That's my first.
That's awesome.
Work is Famous Monsters of Filmland number 151 from 1980 or 80. Yeah, probably 80.
I would have that. I don't know if you have that framed. If that were me, I would have that framed.
I know. I got to buy one. I don't have it. I mean, I don't have it anymore. The issue.
We'll have to scour eBay for it.
Exactly. And for Forrest J. Ackerman, rest in peace, brother. It breaks my heart that that he sold the Acker Mansion, everything that was inside of it. That should have been preserved as a museum, the Forrest J. Ackerman Museum.
Yeah.
I don't know where the horror community was. I think maybe they didn't know. Maybe he didn't want them to know that he was like in dire straits. But I really wish that, Stephen King and Joe Dante and all those other people that grew up being, monster kids had been able to rally and not only keep him in his home for the duration of his life, but also afterwards be like, okay, once it's gone, this is the Forrest J. Ackerman Museum.
So he was, I had met Forey in 19. I met him in an elevator at Dragon Con, and I said the same exact thing to him. So I'm in the elevator at Dragon Con, and this is before this is 1997 or 98. So I'm sitting in the elevator, and I'm going to meet some friends for dinner or something like that. And all of a sudden, who walks in the floor below me but Forrest J. Ackerman? And I'm like, oh my! I said, Uncle Forey, and he turned and I said, I introduced myself. I did, I'm just like, I'm Billy Tucci. I said, hi, Billy. No, I just said, hi, my name's Billy. And I said, I want you to know that I was in Famous Monster Filmland number 151. It's like, and he was such a great guy. And he still had like that 70s suit on and stuff like that. And Peros has a great story. If you're a big monster fan, and I think now we should do this with the Pop XP. We should have a monster show talking about monster movies and celebrating the life of Forey Ackerman.
Hell yeah.
Birthday, let's see when Forey's birthday is. Or one of our guys can see. Maybe Lee, you can look up when Forey Ackerman's birthday is. Maybe we celebrate on Forey's birthday, Uncle Forey. We have all the monster guys come in. I'll see if Jeff
absolutely.
And we can just talk about his life and just what an effect he had. Remember the first time you saw? Now I know we're here to talk comics, but we're going to be doing this all night. But do you remember the first time you saw a Famous Monsters of Filmland? Because I remember when I didn't think anything like this existed, and I was in Florida, and I was in Florida, and I went to I don't know, we were visiting my grandmother or something like that, and I went to the shop. It was like at Publix or something, and there on the stand was a Famous Monsters of Filmland. It was number 147. I remember, and it had the Tuscan Raider on it with the Basil Gogo's Tuscan Raider paint. I'm like, what is this? And I opened it up, and I was like,
yeah,
oh my God, blown away. And then I met Steve, and that was a summer going into 7th grade. And then I met my buddy Steve Peros, my co-writer on She Return of the Warrior, who's a screenwriter out in Hollywood. And I remember, I didn't even know how we might have been in a class together. I didn't even know how it started, but we became friends that very first day of school because of monsters. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then I met Barry Orkin, one of my other best friends, who was a huge comic fan. And he could draw like John Buscema back then. You know what I mean? He could draw like how to draw comics the Marvel way and all this.
Yeah.
Comics. It was so cool because I never really saw a lot of that in elementary school, So it's cool. It was good times, man. So.
And you're all still friends today.
And we're
crazy.
also friends. Yeah. And then we have, if you ever go to San Diego, we all go out that Saturday night with a bunch of like there's screenwriters and guys who do film producers and composers in Hollywood and some comic people, and we go out the Saturday night of San Diego. It's a men's night. We all go to this Greek restaurant. We literally take over the whole Greek restaurant because like 25 of us, and it's grown over 20 years. And we have cigars outside, and pipes and some pipes, and we just say they're all, and it's so great and it's growing. We all talk about this stuff. You know what I mean? The same. Awesome.
Oh, it's beautiful. That's beautiful.
You guys, when you guys go to San Diego, if you want to join us, you're more than welcome. But it's men only, men's night. My wife, if you go with your wife or something, my wife goes out with the girls, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
Your wife, she can go with them.
Exactly.
You bring if you bring Blevins with you, Nile, then Blevins can go with.
We'll bring Frank Amazing, Blevins. We'll have the whole crew there, bro.
Now we'll tear it up. It'll be great.
I appreciate that, brother.
All right, the Ackerman was born November 24th.
Yeah,
so we're gonna do a Halloween show. We're gonna do a Halloween show before that.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. My friend Drew and I, we do this show called a Horror Talk on Mondays, and what we do is we have a indie creator on, and like for instance, if like we had Adam Post on, he has a zombie book, so then the topic of discussion is zombies. And so Drew doesn't know a lot about horror movies, and I'm sort of a walking encyclopedia. That's not me boasting, because it's not something you aspire to. It's something that kind of happens to you, right? Yeah. From just spending your entire childhood with your nose in like Famous Monsters, then Starlog, then Fangoria, then Cinema Fantastique, and Starburst, and then all the books and all that stuff. And somebody has a werewolf book. The topic will be werewolves. We'll have clips from werewolves movies. I'll drop like werewolf trivia and everything, and it's always a good time. It's always fun.
Yeah, we definitely have to do that show.
Yeah, we'll see when Lon Chaney's birthday is. We'll see when his birthday is.
Are you talking about senior or junior?
I would go senior. Lon Chaney Jr. was my favorite because the Wolfman was my favorite monster.
Mine
the
too.
Wolfman and the creature from the Black Lagoon are mine. Lon Chaney was born on August 26th. Oh, no, he was born April 1st. I remember that. Let's see when his son was born. Creighton Chaney. Who's Lon Chaney Jr. Where is he? That's his dad. His dad's so his dad was Creighton Chaney too. Where's Lon Chaney Jr.?
Really? Oh, that's interesting.
Lon Chaney Sr.'s son, Lon Chaney Sr.'s father was Creighton Chaney. So Lon Chaney Jr. is February 10th. When's Karloff's birthday?
Oh, God bless.
But we have to do a show now. Is that okay now? Do you care about monsters?
Oh, I love them. I love the freaking Universal monsters. I'm right there with you.
Oh,
hey, you got my Plex, bro. Don't you see them? They're all in there, Billy.
I don't know. I
didn't grow up with them like you guys were growing up when a lot of that stuff was going on. I mean, I was late 80s, early 90s, but I definitely had my share of it. Not when they were at the peak of popularity, though. I was the kid in school. It's like, hey, did you guys see the Wolfman? They're like, that's in black and white. I'm like, yeah, great.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
And then I had to swallow everything and and closet all my stuff for years and years. And then I came out. I'm coming out.
I'm going to see when Famous Monsters of Filmland #1 debuted.
So I think what we're going to do, Billy, Brian, you're going to stay on the show. We're just going to have a nice free-for-all tonight.
Yeah.
Because the guest that we're going to have on in a few minutes, he's got a book series on Indiegogo. He's a director of Spellslingers, the creator and director of Spellslingers on YouTube. He does a lot of stuff with Geek and Sundry, it looks like. And then he's the writer and director for Escape the Night, which is like a YouTube series. And all the actors in it, from my research and what I've done and checking it out, is actually like the YouTube stars out there, like the most popular YouTube stars are the ones that are acting in it. And he's got this great book out. So I think, we'll just make it a little free for all thing here.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
Why not?
I'm sorry, Brian. I get off. And Nile and I have been talking about the whole thing with Pop XP, which we're announcing tomorrow. So I'm getting a little
excited. Don't apologize. What are you apologizing for? You got me on your show, bro. We're talking.
Plus,
monsters.
He's been cooped up in his studio.
Yeah,
working. We've both been cooped up, but
we've
still
all been cooped up.
Yeah, well, it's no different for Billy though. But now it's just
not for me neither.
Work's getting done.
Work is getting done. It's just everything else is shut down. But it's actually what I'm doing is I'm redrawing pages instead of getting it out and going for the next one. I'm redrawing pages. I don't care. I'm like, I can do better on that than this one. And I'm literally redrawing pages. Because I'm like, you know what? I can't print. This book can't go to the printer for at least a month. So you know what? I'm going to redraw pages and have them recolored. That's literally what we're doing.
That's awesome. That's
and,
awesome.
You know, I mean, I did it with She Number 1. I redrew I redrew at least every single page of She the Way of the Warrior number 1 at least once. So why not have us redraw these pages? You know, that with that, because some pages, you know, you want to get them done. Like, oh, I'm just not happy with that. That's something about that page is bothering me. You know how it is.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You also have to understand the point and I'm saying this as a writer, not an illustrator, because you know I had John Buscema's book How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way when I was a kid. The reason I'm a comic book writer is because I can't draw, right? Worth a damn. I mean, my stick figures are even hideous, right? And the Wizard, hell yeah. And
you see him. Sorry to interrupt,
man. No, that's legit. That's legit. How are you not?
You got to stop for the Wizard.
You got to stop for the fucking Wizard, man. Oh God, what were they thinking?
Let's pop XP. Well, kids, stay tuned.
No, I get you saying. So get it done. I understand, but it's
no, it's not that. It's that there's a certain point where I realize if I keep rewriting this, I'm going to start hurting it at a certain point. But you're familiar with the author Yukio Mishima.
Yeah,
he said, you know,
somewhere.
Oh, incredible author. And he said that, you know, his problem was that he was always like one more line.
Mm-hmm.
One more line.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it can be difficult for an artist to walk away sometimes, but it's also important to know when to walk away, and that's when you're actually like starting to do damage. But if you can just make things look better and flyer and give your backers an even more gorgeous looking book, go at it, brother. Go at it.
The worst is though when you know you've done too much and you're like, fuck. It's like all that time spent and you're like,
I always overthink things too. I do. I overthink things, but at least the art's different. The art I know. You know what I mean? Like, we can do better than that. But we have Adam here. Do you want to bring Adam in? Well, Adam walked away for a minute. There he is.
There he is. He heard his name. He came backstage. We had M&Ms out for him. He only likes the green ones, folks. Only the green ones. The green ones? Yeah, and he makes us mix them with bacon bits. What are you gonna do? Everyone's got their things, you know. But,
bacon, which Dan Fraga refers to as meat candy.
It is. It's great.
Yes, but I'm sorry, Nile.
Horrible for you.
Horrible for you.
Without further ado, let's introduce. So the tonight has kind of, you know, some good conversation, things like that. So you know what, we're gonna bring Adam in. Brian's gonna hang out with us, and you know we're gonna start. You know, we'll talk to Adam about what he's going on because he's got a gamut of stuff. Ooh. I mean, just a gamut of stuff.
I look forward to meeting him and seeing his stuff.
Unbelievable. So here we go, folks. Are you ready? There's fireworks. Fireworks are going on. Fireworks. Boom! Adam, welcome.
What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Can you hear me through these?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, man.
Perfect.
A pleasure to meet you, Adam.
Yeah, likewise, guys. Thanks so much for bringing me on. And there was a shake. There's a shake up there. Happy.
High five. There
boom,
you go.
Boom. Yeah, we'll take that as well. Yeah, thank you for having me on. I know this is our crazy quarantine, you know, creation time. So thanks for having me.
It's the new Renaissance. Everyone's trapped in their homes and thinking. Thinking and doing.
Creating.
Exactly.
So Adam, if you don't mind, we really got off track and we haven't had a chance to talk about Brian's book at all because we were talking about universal monsters and Hitler shooting himself and
that's an important topic. Very important topic.
It's the anniversary today.
We'll just have a fun time with this. I don't know. I hope you guys don't mind being on together. I think we can all play for the next hour or so.
The more the merrier.
You know?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I like that book rack you've got behind you with your comics up there, Brian. I mean, you're repping it proud there. I have to have a separate room in my house for my stash. You know, it's taking over a separate room.
Who's got a nicer rack, Brian or Billy?
Oh.
I'm about a B cup.
Billy.
Can you hold a banana in between?
Yeah, that's all the stuff like I'm working on. And that's the rack I take to my comic conventions and I just kind of set it up, you know, because it's kind of a fun background. But I got to take it down and pack it up. And I'm going to put my little Daruma doll here. Bodhi.
Oh
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because we'll be ending our campaign soon, and when we get to that specific goal, we're gonna paint in his other eye, which means that the goal was fulfilled. And then Bodhi will go downstairs into my den, and then Yoshi, I have another one, even bigger one. He's gonna come out.
Wow.
He's gonna be for Shihotaru. But I think we're gonna put
Oh.
Yoshi over here. We'll put him over here. And
Now,
this
what's
is
the
my little
story with
drawing
those
area
again?
of the studio.
What's the story with those again? Because I remember from like the Zatoichi films.
Yeah, it's a Daruma doll. So what a Daruma doll is, it's this doll that it's like a Weeble. It's like the original Weeble.
Oh, that thing is
I
huge.
have sweatpants on because
Yeah.
it's a quarantine. I don't care. So what it is that it's
At least
it's
you have
a
pants
big
on this
festival in
time.
Japan that starts at the end of the year and goes through the spring.
Mhm.
And what you do is that they come with their eyes blank, white.
Yep.
And when you have a goal in mind, you take paint, or I guess you can do it with a Sharpie or something, and you paint in one of the eyes, the left eye. So you have your goal in mind, your goal you want to attain, and then when you do attain that goal in the springtime, you'll paint the other eye. So that's it. So when I launched Return of the Warrior, that was our goal. In December, it's like, okay, so we're gonna do the Daruma doll. Here's his name is Bodhi off of Bodhihara. Now this is what the Daruma dolls are is Bodhihara was his name. He was an Indian priest, and he went to China, and he spent 9 years in the temple and to achieve enlightenment, and he did. And now they have this festival of goals, and to follow your dreams, your goals, and to achieve them. And it's a big thing in Japan. They come real small or really big, and mine's a pretty big one. I got another one downstairs that I really can't wait to fill in his eyes. It scares the hell out of kids, my nieces and stuff like that, But
I'm into this thing. I am very into this. This is such a cool thing. I was just in Japan, and I spent 10 days in Tokyo last year, and I just love it. That's a cool
pick
goal
it up.
setter.
And it's a cool thing. I look at him every day, and he looks at me. He's like, "You done with this book yet? Why are you redrawing pages, Billy?" Because we were talking at him with the shutdown that the printers now, our printers are all rushing to do yearbooks and stuff because they were shut down. They're starting to open up now. But all of us, though, that have comics, we're being pushed back. And I'm actually talking to Nikki Barucci at Dynamite. And Nikki's like, let me help you. I think we can go overseas. And I'm real terrified to go, have my books overseas. Because they'll rob you. They'll rip off your character. So I just want to shut that off. And B, who knows what's up, but he's like, they want to airmail, they'll airmail, the books,
right?
And stuff like that. So we'll see. That's all the next weeks or so. But while I have our printers we're using, we really can't, they're not taking books until next month. I'm like, well, why not draw on some pages?
No, I know, right?
Pages, and I'm loving it because I'm like changing angles up, and I'm just having a lot of fun with it. If you look at people see on the Kickstarter and the Indiegogo are frames. The comic panel boxes are rectangular with their square edges. When I had done, and that's how we promoted it and all. When I first did She and All the Way of the Warrior, the comic panels are more Art Nouveau. They're rounded, the edges of the comic panels, and they have little Art Nouveau connecting lines between all the panels. And I completely forgot about that. So I'm like, that's not a bad idea. Why don't we redraw all the panel borders? So we're redrawing the panel borders. I'm driving Brian Miller crazy and Christy Miller from High Five. But I'm like, you know what? What the hell? When life gives you lemons, let's make some lemonade, right?
Amen, brother.
Amen. So
no, absolutely, this is the time to do those things that you never had time for, and you can focus on it, and it's pretty cool. I think there's a magic to that, right? That I think so many times, whether I'm in TV or in games, I have to, at some point, I run out of edit days, and that's the end of the cut, right? You have a ship date on a game, and that's the end of making it, right?
Yeah.
And so many times you wished, but if only, and that's a cool thing that you get.
Yeah, and that's how where I'm at right now, and I'll shut up so we can do your stuff. We can talk about you guys. But I'm like, I don't know. I can only have my mark left once, you know what I mean, on something. So why not come out with the best book possible, every time. And if I can't do anything right now, if I have time to rework pages, why not rework them?
Yeah, exactly.
It's my book. And this is the difference between me working for this and I've had a lot of fun working for, like, say, DC. But this is the real difference between me working for myself and DC. And you guys know it when you write your own, your own create your own stuff.
Totally.
It's about passion. It's
Yes.
about passion.
Yeah.
It is. And that's the thing. Like, like all of like the CG books, all of like the indie comics, they're all passion projects.
Yes.
One after another after another. There's such an encouraging lack of cynicism in these projects.
Yep.
That's right.
We're making the comics that we want to read.
Yeah.
And we hope that people are going to connect with them. We hope that people are going to feel as passionate about them as we do. We don't know. Yeah. But I've been super lucky, man. People, the critics, the readers, everybody's been super nice to me with Six Gun Gorilla. That has just been
that's awesome, dude.
Thanks, brother. I figured like certain people would really dig it, right?
Right.
That they're like,
sure.
Right? That there's a certain audience that was going to dig it, but I didn't think like everybody was going to dig it. And that's not boasting. That's me being like really, really grateful because you don't know if other people are going to vibe with your work or not. And so when they do, it's such a blessing. It's such a a blessing.
Yes, it is. And what's cool is both of you guys have like two of the greatest titles to come out, just in name only. You've got some badass titles. So I don't know. Maybe we can, since Brian's been on the show for almost an hour and we haven't talked about.
That's okay. That's okay. Let's get to Adam's product.
We start visiting.
Six Gun Gorilla sounds pretty awesome.
Isn't it badass? Six Gun Gorilla. Yeah. What?
It's awesome.
All I'm saying. Go ahead.
No. Please.
No, I was going to say, like, I've been fortunate enough to work with really, really wonderful artists, fantastic artists. And, the cover for the first issue, which is this by my friend Wes Huffer, the person that can like walk by and see this on a comic book shelf and not at least go, well, at least pick it up and go, okay, I got to at least see what this is about.
Yeah.
I don't understand that cat or that chick. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't understand. I don't understand that person. But but I mean, to each their own, and it's not for everybody. And there are a lot of people. One of the things that I've also found really gratifying are people are like, I don't like Westerns. I'm like, okay, well, sucks for you. But then they're like, but I love your book. I'm like, oh, okay. Wonderful. Because it is a Western, but it's also a Western with a gorilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
A Western with a samurai.
Exactly. It's a matchup. When I was a little boy, I was a monster kid. So of course I loved me some King Kong. I loved me some Mighty Joe Young. I also fell in love with Westerns. It started out with the Italian Westerns with, Sergio Leone and the Dollars trilogy, Once Upon a Time in the West. And it just grew from there, because then I started discovering the American Westerns, sort of like working my way backwards. John Ford, The Searchers, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, George Stevens' Shane.
Yeah.
Which, if you want to see a grown man cry, I refuse to watch that. Like with whenever I've been with a girlfriend, I'm like, you are not watching Shane with me. Oh, really? Shane, come back, Shane. Right? So this was a case of me. I always wanted to be a horror writer, and I've written countless horror screenplays and horror comic scripts, but I'm not especially good at writing horror. I don't think. What my secret talent seems to be, and this isn't something I aspire to, is creating hybrids. And that's what this is. And I could have played this very Garth Ennis-y. There was a part of me that was like, you know what? Maybe I should have him ripping people's arms off and sticking them up their butts, and right?
Because I mean, that's really what you should have done. It's a shame you didn't.
Well,
I mean, that's what gorillas do in westerns, my friend. That's what they do. Gorilla cowboys rip limbs off and shove them up asses.
Yeah, didn't you know that's what gorillas did in westerns, Brian?
Ah, come on.
But here's the thing.
Scala, what's
As much as I love Garth Ennis, why would I do Garth Ennis when I can do me? Because I'm the only person.
And now he brought it back.
I'm the only person that can do me, and I wanted this to be. You know, people. I've always felt with my work, people can accuse it of being shite. You have to tell me why it's shite, right?
Sure.
But you can tell me it's crap. I'm open to that. For me, the work is what's important. I don't take it personally. The work is something outside of me, right?
Yeah.
Even though I invest it with blood, sweat, and tears, soul, and heart, and all that stuff, the finished product is something outside of me. But the one thing nobody can ever accuse me of is of being insincere. And
here.
And I wanted to play this book straight, and I wanted to play it straight because I felt it would be more fun that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that was I took a chance, and it's paid off because one of the greatest compliments I get from people. Ethan was one of the people that said this. Mandy Summers was another one. Clint Stoker. They were all like, "It's not what you think it is."
Mm-hmm.
With if you're showing up to see a gorilla, blow holes in people big enough to put your arm through with like 6 guns that are the size of howitzer cannons, you're going to get that. Yeah. There's a saloon brawl. How am I not going to have a saloon brawl in a comic book, a Western with a gorilla, right? So he's going to be hitting people with pianos and stuff like that. And there's canyon chases, there's showdowns, there's gunfights, everything that you would expect from like a Western, but with a gorilla in it. Yeah. But
I love it.
Right? Because there is a real F yeah, fuck yeah attitude, but at the same time, it has real heart and it has real emotion, and it's about something. And hopefully people come for the fuck yeah, but then they're going to find their emotions and pulled in ways maybe that they didn't expect. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be the case because that's what people are telling me. So
especially coming from someone who loves Shane.
Yeah,
I think you're gonna surprise him because you know how it is. Your own personal favorite things come into play and all. And I think you might have a little bit of Shane in there. And well, is that Howard Hawks? Did Hawks do Shane?
No, that was George Stevens. Howard Hawks.
Stevens. Okay.
He did another one of my favorites, El Dorado.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Now, how long's your promo video for your Indiegogo?
It's about, I think, 2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes. All right. So if you don't mind, we'll play this for the viewers out there just to get a.
Let's do it.
Thanks, brother.
Brian Christgau, your book, Six Gun Gorilla, is excellent. Six Gun Gorilla, awesome. Awesome comic book.
We've all heard the stories. We've all heard the legends. Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, Billy the Kid. But there's a secret history to the Old West. One that seems too strange to be true, but, well, we all know what they say about the truth. Very big ape, very big guns, throwing very big holes, very bad people. I think the world is finally ready to hear the story of the strangest, most startling Western hero of them all.
Damn. I like that video, man.
That
It's
was
nice.
thanks. Thank you very much.
In fact, I backed it while we were watching it.
Oh,
there
thanks,
you
brother.
go.
Thank you, brother.
Of course, dude. Who
appreciate
wouldn't
that.
want it? No, I think that what you presented is something special, right? That when somebody captures both the sense of excitement of the gorilla, the big guns, the adventure, but then leaves you with heart, right? Because the excitement only lasts for a few pages, maybe 4, maybe 5. But then if there's no heart, you just don't ever move past issue 1, or you never finish it. You set it down and you never pick it back up again.
Right.
And it feels like there's an essence of that. And that's cool that you may be able to capture it. And I think that the idea of, anyways, it's a very fun visual, and anyways, nice work on the video.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks. The video was done by a friend of the artist, Adrian Sibar, who lives in beautiful Buenos Aires, Argentina, and and yeah, and
Can you say Buenos Aires, Nile?
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires.
Yes, he's I was at the New York Comic Con. I always told people
Sorry,
like,
Adam.
he's the sexy. He was the sexy Antonio Banderas of the team.
I love Antonio Banderas.
You have to love Antonio Banderas.
Nile and Adam, do you love Antonio Banderas?
I do. That's a yes.
Do you guys like comics?
Yes, thank you.
That's
Yes,
correct.
very much.
Now, am I as loud as you when I go down there, or no?
Oh,
I mean, I wish you hadn't said it quite like that.
Yeah.
When I get close to my-
Well, when I head down to my mic, Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
when I'm as close as
Yeah, it sounds loud.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Let's stop. We apologize, Brian. Please continue.
Don't apologize. Don't you dare apologize. You've had me.
Don't apologize to
I'm
Brian.
a guest on your show.
It's Adam, you need to apologize.
Adam, you need to apologize to, but not me.
Yeah.
Well,
Not me.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, no. That was an easy video to do because I didn't have to storyboard it. In order to storyboard it, all I had to do was literally just cut and paste from the comic book, draw a little arrow. Can you make this thing go that way? Can you make the bird's wings flap? So on and so forth. And I provided all of the music and all of the sound effects. And I am kind of proud to say all of the gunshots that you hear in that trailer are taken directly from Sergio Leone Westerns.
Excellent. Outstanding.
Oh,
Where'd you
nice.
get the music from?
That's for me. Oh, it's the theme from Forgotten Pistolero.
So you were able to use that and nobody came after you.
Yeah, and you know why? Because it's in the public domain.
We'll see. Because after I post the video, people are like, oh, it's
The
a public
music.
domain. And then I post it on YouTube's like, you didn't get a strike, but you can either mute it or you don't get any. They shut off your monetization for that video.
Yeah, Forgotten Pistolero, I checked. It's in the public domain, and that's a wonderful movie too. It's really, that's a sad Western. That's a sad spaghetti.
I have to say that speaking back to your book, I mean the art's incredible. I
It's-
really like the
Yes.
style that this is drawn in.
Thanks.
It has a very it's like a finished sketch. Like, and when I say that, it's like almost like finished roughs in a way because there's they have the extra lines in.
Yep.
I really love the interiors of this book and the coloring. The colors are fantastic.
Yeah.
And, Antonio said the same thing. He's like, I love the color. I mean, the coloring is great in this book.
It is.
And
And
this is your 4th campaign?
well, this is I had 3 first campaigns.
Mhm.
Like, how some writers, they'll have 3 first novels,
Yeah.
right? I didn't know what I was doing the first time, and I also didn't know what I was doing the second time. And so the third time, I set my goal too high. I didn't have a YouTube presence. And that's why the community that I'm part of with Comicsgate and with like other indie creators, what I love so much is that we are the opposite of gatekeepers. We are gate openers. That's to say that when there's people coming in behind us, and they're just launching their first campaign, we're like, hey, come over here, ask us any questions you have. We're going to look over your campaign if you want us to. We're going to give you some advice. Don't set your goal too high. You know, you might want to do this. You might want to not do that. And, you know, people learn from our successes, but especially more than anything, they learn from our mistakes and our fuck ups.
Absolutely. Well done.
Right.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, and
And
that's what that's what we wanted to do with our show as well, is to give a platform to people, because we love this. And let's be honest, Nile and I were talking over a year ago now, because we both wanted to really get into crowdfunding ourselves. And I didn't know anything about it. I'm like, well, you know, let's do a show on it, talk to all these creators and have them on our YouTube show. And then basically that's how it grew. That's how it grew. And we've learned so much as well.
Oh, we've learned so much. It's grown to
right?
the point where, you know, we even get like, you know, we'll get, you know, actors, other creators, writers, screenwriters, you know, because a lot of time, you know, you have someone on and then, you know, their friend finds out about it and then they want to come on and stuff like that. But then they're like, you know, they'll email and be like, hey, you know, I'd love to come on your show, talk about this, but we don't do crowdfunding. And it's like, yeah, it's fine, but come on, you know, it's fine. So like we started to create other names for shows, like mainstream, for creators that, you know, are you know, are doing mainstream work, but they're not crowdfunding, you know, and then the regular crowdfunding comics for that stuff and this and that. And, you know, we'll have our big announcement tomorrow, but, you know, due to certain I say demands really and opening up doors and expanding, we're changing a few things to now try to really encompass creators from all areas.
That's wonderful.
Of the world, you know.
That's wonderful.
Awesome.
Gaming,
Good for
toy
you.
creators,
Amen.
film,
Fantastic.
everything, actors, actresses, stuff like that. Because it all ties. You'd be surprised how much really ties in together. You
It
know,
does.
even just the common interests. You know, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, and to me, like the most exciting thing has been seeing people who have shows, have YouTube shows where they promote indie creators, and now those people are looking at us and going, "Wait a second, that guy doesn't seem too bright, and he's managing to pull this off. So maybe I should give that a shot too."
Yeah,
and that's really exciting.
we had Jimmy Palmiani on last week.
Oh,
and
hail Jimmy Palmiani.
Yeah, and we were just talking like, oh my God, all of our friends are calling us, and you guys know, they're like, okay, I want to do this. You know, all the guys getting the pencil down orders, like, all right, Billy, how do I do a Kickstarter? Help me do a Kickstarter. I'm like, oh, I can talk you through it, you know, but it's a lot. People don't realize how much work it is to do these crowdfunded books. It's crazy.
It's a lot.
Right?
And
Right now,
maintenance and connecting with people and constantly pushing it, for sure. It's a daily activity. You sign up for whatever days you're in your campaign that you're committing, you know, a couple hours a day to pushing that forward.
And social media makes or breaks you. It truly does. You have to be hitting Twitter. You know, Facebook is still relevant. Facebook is the one where, like, when your campaign hits, that's where, like, your friends, your family, everyone, you blast that and they support you. Then you start hitting Twitter and Instagram to start really getting other people pushing it, sharing it. And then, you know, the big thing too is, you know, our show, I think, kind of came in at the right time for it as well, is, you know, now the creators are doing YouTube shows and everyone's kind of promoting each other within audiences. You know, you've got people in Comicsgate doing it. You have people outside of Comicsgate doing it. You have, you know, just the industry in general, everyone's doing it. And whoever your group is, your clique, whatever you're doing, I mean, everyone's promoting each other, which is pretty cool. It's a cool thing to see. But yeah, I mean, social media, man, that's one thing I learned. You've got to get that down. Down. And that takes your entire freaking day. Yeah, you know what's the worst part about it is, like, even like with the show, I'll promote stuff and, like, I'll forget to, I'll not get the draft in for the thing, and I'm just, like, scrolling through. Like, just like, you get stuck scrolling because you see, like, one interesting thing and you're like, oh wait, no, I need to be promoting. But oh my God, what is Billy wearing? That's illegal, you know? And, like, it's just crazy.
It is, but also it's like Twitter is it's a toxic website, right? But it is absolutely essential for crowdfunding and for indie creators in general. And to click the retweet button is so easy. It takes no effort. You just go
and you help someone out.
Click, and you help somebody out. I think of this community of indie creators that we have. I think of it as it's like the inverse of the the real world, right? It's the world as it should be, which is Instead of everybody sticking knives in each other's backs and tripping each other up to get ahead, everybody is uplifting each other. And there's people that are coming in just now and they're like, I'm not so sure if I could do this. And you can be like, look, I've looked at your work. It's legit. It is professional quality. You can do this. Here, let me reach down and we'll just pull you right back up. And everybody has this attitude of pay it forward.
Yeah.
You don't.
It's a super special thing.
Yep.
Right. To get that synergy from it. I agree with you versus it being so cutthroat, because we know we're all kind of have skin in the game. We're all taking some risks. We're all kind of laying the bloody wrist out there saying, hey, this is what's inside me. And it's really cool. I agree with that. And I love how you said it's how I wish the world was, right? This is somehow this fantasy world that we're in, where there's this cool community of creators that support each other. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't always necessarily mean that person's creative is your personal favorite or your personal whatever, but that you're willing to lend a hand and be a part of it. It's great.
Yeah, honestly, my theory is I'll usually, if someone sends anything my way, I do check it out. I really do look at it, because everyone's style is different. Now, it might not be my thing, right? Like, okay, it's not really my thing. It's not going to be too appealing to my eye, But you know what? Then I may have 500 to 1,000 followers or whatever that is. So why not? Hey, here, check this out. And it looks, because I'll respect anything. Like, something may not be your thing, but you can look at the work and respect it. You can totally respect it.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with a retweet. And I always like to do like a retweet with a comment, just something like a little bit, just for people to check it out. But it's cool how you do see that, that respect out there for other creators and really just kind of spreading it around. And majority of the creators meet their goals,
Yeah.
It may be a journey, you might get there by the skin of your teeth, but at least you meet your goals,
And there's diversity of product. There's so many different genres, and I can't wait to do a horror comic. I can't wait to do a sword and sorcery, Frazetta style comic. I can't wait to do a science fiction comic. There's all this stuff, and I'm looking at my fellow creators, and they're all doing these different genres. There's crime comics. There's monster comics. The only thing I think we're missing right now are romance comics. Like the kinds that they had like in the 50s.
That's really cool.
But maybe there's no reason why that might not emerge.
I have a super violent romance comic that I'll be putting out next year.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of amazing comics, though, the 8th looks incredible.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Segue.
That looks incredible. Let's jump in on this.
Let's take a look at it, AL.
It looks
incredible.
One of the many gamut of things. Gamut of things.
I haven't seen it yet, but it must be badass if you guys are talking this way.
Nice.
This is when you know it's the real
very
deal.
badass. Yeah.
What's that? Adam? What did you say, Adam? What?
Yeah, it's very, very badass.
It's very badass now.
It's very badass.
Erwin Berg asks. Oh wait, no. Let's get to this.
Yeah, let's check this out. And I'm gonna your video is about the same, right? It's like 2 minutes.
It's a minute 20.
A minute 20. But check this out. I mean, this is incredible, guys. And it's something. Well, just watch for yourselves.
All right.
According to my math teacher, I'm the smartest kid she's ever met. I solved the Millennium Math problem. But nothing changed. My brother still hung himself. My mother's still depressed. The kids at school are still horrifying to each other. But what if there was a way I could fix all that? What if I could take this broken world and reassemble it? And even if the world didn't want to, I would make it change. Make it see things differently. The only problem is that sometimes the world pushes back and makes you do things. Terrible, terrible things.
I just noticed the drop of blood at the end.
Holy shit, dude!
Oh,
That's
thank you.
We got 2 prizes.
Thank
They should be movies. Oh my gosh, both of
I
you.
know.
That
I know.
is wow.
Wow.
That and dealing with
Wow.
similar
Oh my gosh.
dealing
Come
with similar
on.
themes to my book, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's my good friend Ian Duncan. He does a lot of my visual effects for my television work, and he built that for me. And then my composer, he for my TV shows, he also composed some music for it. And but yeah, it was a lot of labor of love. It was all free time that people donated, and coming together on it. And I think it's quite the expression of, you know, the art and also the emotion of the tale, and also the violent but yet vulnerable nature of the story.
Now, is this your first? This is your first Indiegogo, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. And now, is this your first comic book series?
So I way back in the day, I co-wrote something with a guy named Keith Aram called Dead Speed. It never really got published. We pushed it at Comic-Con through PCB Productions, and it kind of it was something that was done sort of as a step into a film project, but it never reached maybe the broad light. So it would be dishonest to say I'd never done anything, but this is my first real creation that's my own characters, my own words, and so this is it. And it's an awesome experience. My artist is a guy named Joran Evers. He lives in the Netherlands, and he's been doing storyboards for me on TV, as well as doing this, you know, and over the last couple of years, we've been crafting this tale together, and it's really been exciting.
Now, how many years has this been in the making?
So it's 2 years in the making, if you can imagine. It's an 8-issue series, and 5 of them are done. And and so it's quite a gauntlet of a journey. Like, who makes an 8-issue story? But the title was the 8 that I figured it kind of really needed to be 8 issues, right, to complete this arc. And so he and I set out about it. And so so the cool part is from the campaign standpoint, is on the digital side, as soon as the campaign closes, everybody gets issue 1 next month, issue 2 the month after that, issue 3, just like you were collecting it at your shop, because we're ahead enough. And then by the time you catch up with where we are now, we'll be done with the last few books, and it will be off to printers. So it's a nice way to immediately connect with the story world.
So this is for all 8. I'm sorry to interrupt. This is for all 8 books?
Yes, this is the whole story. So it's 180 pages actually is the final. So it's quite a gauntlet of to put out. So it's like so if you can imagine, the first 5 issues are done, and the first one was a long issue. It was 32 pages, and the rest are 22. So so if you can imagine, we made 5 issues all on our own, just in our own sandbox, and then said, you know what, this is the time to get it out.
Well, it looks amazing. I mean, the video was amazing. What's the story? Give us a little, what you can. You know, I'd love to
as much as I can. So, at the core of this story is about a guy named David Wells, whose brother commits suicide, and there's a lot of bullying in his school, and his suicide as a result of that. And he feels like he lives in a world he can't control. But the one gift he has is he is a beyond world-class mathematician. But in a small town where no one appreciates it, it doesn't really do anything for him. And then he and his best friend Atticus and his other best friend Emma, they are scavenging a burned-out house.
Thank you, Lee.
Lee, you're awesome. Thank you, Lee. They're scavenging a burned-out house with his aunt, because they scavenge houses and they sell the stuff in their pawn shop, and they find this incredible, like almost organic material that's shaped in a ball, and he realizes that the symbols on it create a mathematical problem, which he then solves, and it opens it up, and it's a piece of ancient Sumerian armor. It's like living armor, but it's just a piece of it. Nice. And it almost kills him when it first takes over him. And so it just covers his arm, and it's gradually sort of killing him. And the way he communicates with it is with math, right? Language doesn't work to it. Impulse doesn't. He has to form the equations in his mind to make it take new shapes. And he has this first moment where he uncovers this power, and he sees another kid bullying another kid, and he says, wait, I can do for this kid which nobody was able to do for my brother.
Yeah.
Except then, because it's more power than he knows what to do with, he mangles the kid so badly he'll never walk again.
Oh, geez.
Right? Which I think is the, in Spider-Man, there's a lie, right, where Spider-Man can lift a tank, but he can punch a guy, and the guy just gets up and goes to the police station. When really his face would be caved in, right, if you had that kind of strength. And so I thought, what if in this story, the consequences for superpowers were real consequences instead of, you just punch somebody and then lift a tank, instead there was real costs and real lives. And but he has this moment where he realizes, wait a minute, I can make the world change by doing this. Like, through this act of violence, I change it. That kid can't ever get bullied again because the other kid's never going to leave the hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
So he and his friends make a list of people to take down. And so they're crushing people.
So, you know what I mean? So you get this. I love the idea that, you want to do right. He wants it to be good, but then also the teenage, your hormones are changing, the whole thing that, because you don't know, you don't have the maturity. You get pissed off, you want to strike back. You know what I mean? His brother committed suicide because of the bullying. I love this. I mean, it's really cool. So I apologize to interrupt you, but I'm just excited.
It's emotional. It's emotional.
Yeah.
I could tell that. And because when you're a kid, like when the Columbine massacre happened, I remember like my first impulse was to think, oh God, that could have been me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That at a certain point in my life, in junior high school, if I had access to firearms.
Oh, so you were bullied. You were someone that was bullied so bad you felt, you're an immigrant, a child of immigrants. You come in and and the things you like, like you said, art.
It was really bad. Well, actually, what happened was I ended up bringing a battle axe to school, and I was gonna brain the first person that fucked with me that day. And nobody, it was the first day, in all year, that nobody messed with me. And then I realized it's because people saw the look in my eye. And then I realized, I don't have to walk around with a battle axe. I just have to walk around with that don't F with me look. But but when you're a kid, oh God. And the trailer's fantastic. It's really emotional.
Yeah. I mean,
thank you.
No one's talking about that, Adam. I mean, everyone knows about, like I said, Brian, you went through it, everyone talks about the Columbine kids. That was April 20th, I think, so that's 10 days ago, the anniversary of that. When you see these kids reacting and doing that, what if someone had the ability to do that with this power? You know what I mean?
I would have done terrible things.
Even if you're a good kid, even if you're
that's right. You would have done terrible things. And growing up, my next door neighbor was my closest friend, and he and his brother, they were so bullied. It haunts me to this day, and one of them didn't make it, didn't make it very far in life. And I think, back to those moments, right? Like that kind of raw energy where you don't yet know right or wrong well enough, and you don't quite know the boundaries. And so that explodes for him, right? And it goes too far. And then the real consequences come full circle.
Yeah.
And then he leaves his town in shambles, if you will, and realizes there's more pieces of this armor, and this is his new journey, is to figure out what this is, and can he save the world, or will he just destroy it in the process? And so I think that, and then his best friend Emma, who is with them, who she also suffered more direct bullying, and so she kind of goes in this darker pathway and chooses this dark path. And then he has this friend Atticus with him, who chooses maybe a path more in the light. And so this trio of characters are at odds with each other as they're still friends,
right,
taking this journey that leads them across the planet, and dealing with Templars and ancient cults and etc. as they head across the searching for the rest of the armor.
I'm fascinated by
that's-
ancient Sumeria too, so that's another.
Yeah, so what's up with that? Like, why did you go for that? I mean, you would think that the obvious thing is it's almost an Excalibur thing. A lot of people know, or samurai armor, or
it's the first civilization. It's the most ancient civilization. That's why.
Right. I felt like, I've had this feeling that, like, if you go into the future, you go into aliens, it immediately takes this into a sci-fi experience. But if you go to something ancient that's been here, then you can tie it back into myths that have built the planet, right? And there's a lot more layers to uncover versus something off the planet. And the Sumerians is a myth that I've just, like you're saying, Brian, I've been fascinated by it. And what I love about it, it's also a lot of the mythology is closely tied to the flood of Noah.
Yeah.
Right. And part of this mythology leads back to that. And so I thought, what a cool myth that unifies sort of many religious myths across the globe, and also brings the kind of the planet together. So that was why I chose that. And then I also like the idea that the armor was living, it was alive, it was organic pieces versus being metallic. Yes, civilized by alien technology. Thank you for that.
The Nephilim.
And if you look at issue, if you back it and you get it, you'll see where that alien factor comes into play.
Do you guys believe in aliens?
I don't believe that aliens have been here, but I could be wrong. But I could be wrong.
Are you?
I think I'm willing to accept. I think I'm willing to accept the idea that there are things not of this world that have been to this world. I don't think I'm willing to accept that.
I certainly acknowledge the possibility. I just like I believe in UFOs, but then what is a UFO? An unidentified flying object. I believe that people are seeing something.
Yeah.
I just don't believe. I think that that space and time are so massive that the idea of two people and dropping them on the earth with nobody else at opposite ends, and what are the odds of them running into each other?
Right.
Saying the Earth is flat.
I could be wrong.
Yeah. So I think
it's hollow.
I think I think that I've seen UFOs, and I do think though that it is. And Nile, remember that Nile sent me a video and it's like, "Is this what you saw?" And it was exactly what I saw in a plane, in a commercial jet going over Europe. But I think that's ours. I do. I love conspiracy theories. I love the whole thing of aliens from outer space coming here and all, but. As you were saying, Brian, I just think that the time that it's just too far. I think if there's an alien thing, it could be done through light technology, that maybe it's their consciousness. They're able to stream their consciousness through light, you know what I mean? Through light years or something like that, Brian.
And also, you don't know. The Earth is very, very, very old, despite what some people might tell you. Yeah. And so...
For all you know, we may be just, the third or fourth, advanced civilization that's been on this planet.
Absolutely. That's what Robert E. Howard was all about, with Hyboria.
Right. And I think that's where the story points to, right? Is that the idea that there's been somebody else that's been advanced, and it speaks to that. And so I think it's exciting because it gives us a chance to uncover something that's always been here.
Yeah,
I think that's why I ended up choosing that path with the Sumerians, and it hadn't been explored that much, I would say. So it was a nice place to do something new.
But it's not giving it to Adam Lawson today. It's giving to an Adam Lawson who's 16 years old.
Thank you.
And that's the.
It's funny you say. Yeah, Billy, you totally get it, don't you?
Terrible things. I would have done terrible things.
Brian, do you want to go? You need
a drink. Brian, do you want
to? He needs.
Do we need a group hug right now?
Yes, I think we should take a break. Take a.
I'm back.
I think let's go ahead and get that break. Let's get that break.
I'm back. Your number.
Does somebody know where Brian's battle axe is? Does somebody know where the axe is?
Battle axe, Brian, today.
I actually don't have
somebody get that away from him.
I actually have a Saxon battle axe. It's on the wall over there, actually.
I have a Nerf axe.
It's not a Nerf axe.
It's from Germany.
It says Nerf on it. He's fine.
I have a pocket knife, but that's as far as
I also have Arnold's Atlantean sword.
Arnold.
It's awesome.
From Conan the Barbarian.
No.
Conan the Destroyer. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm back at number 53, and
you're too kind, dude. You're too
no,
kind.
no. Because it's not like I'm not like, oh well, he backed my book, I'm gonna back his.
You're backer number 53.
Yeah, and
did you just back it?
Like about 10-15 minutes ago, I think.
Nice. So you're up to 58 backers now. So you've gotten a few people from being on.
That's amazing. And so any of you who are backing it on here that are listening, much love going out to you. And
two great books tonight.
And I'm going to give everything I can to the book to make sure it's worth your time.
That trailer just, I mean, because it just it spoke to me in a very direct, very, very powerful way. Like I had a visceral reaction to it. Like I actually was going, ugh. And that's when you know something's working. That's when you know something's working, is when you have an actual visceral reaction to it. And it's interesting.
Exactly right.
It's interesting because, like, out of all the reviews I got, for my book, there was one by this young lady who said it's about what you can do and what you should do, and whether or not you can know the difference. And it seems like this is similar, because
I think it's a similar theme, Brian. I like that you said that, right? The canon, what you can do and what you should do, and the consequences for doing the thing you can do instead of the things you should do.
Yeah.
And I think in many ways, Brian, I think your theme is there, and I think that's resonant with me as well in this story. And I think maybe a lot of indie creators are throwing it out there is because they feel like maybe that there's a little bit of a loss of that theme in maybe some modern comics, where it feels like they're prescribing the answer.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas
hail Adam.
Right. I think what's maybe exciting is the answer isn't prescribed, the circumstances are prescribed, and then you get to come to your own conclusions. Mm-hmm. And so I think that maybe there's a desire in that, because I think in many that I've backed, I feel like that's in there, because I've backed a lot of projects in my time. I have the love of, in fact, it's, as much as I love going to the comic shop, I like going on Indiegogo equally as much to go, hey, what's this guy doing? Click.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right. Now, is there some hope? Is there almost a Peter Parker arch, you know what I mean, to it? Or does he go all Brightburn on everybody and just scorches up, murders everybody?
There's much
as Brian would have done.
No,
yes.
No, I mean, well,
as battle axe wielding Brian.
Yeah, absolutely would have. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think so. So I think what happens is, I think that in the course of the story is that there's a bit more Peter Parker to David. There is the Brightburn to Emma, who is his co-star in this, and then Atticus is trying to decide what side of the line he's going to be on. But essentially, David has chosen one side and Emma has chosen another. So I think that's what makes it an interesting tale, is that he chooses what he believes is the right thing, and he's and he doesn't go Brightburn, but there's still consequences along the way to engage on his quest, and there is doubt, and he's also trying. Whereas I think Emma becomes more certain of her path, and I think that's what makes her interesting. Is she bites into the darker path, which in some ways is more clear, because sometimes it's hard to be the good guy in a tale where there's a lot of gray, right? Yeah. And I think that's what makes comics exciting, is when they take a good person, when Captain America has to decide between the good guys and the maybe not quite as good guys.
Yeah.
Right. When somebody who is trying to do the right is like, wait, these guys aren't as clearly black and white. So, anyways, I think that's a piece of his story, and I wonder, Brian, if maybe some of that is in your tale as well too, because it feels like you got a gun-toting gorilla, but maybe there's more than just mowing down the bad guys in your tale as well.
There absolutely is.
Yeah.
How old is the gorilla? Is he 16-year-old Brian Christgau gorilla, or is he maybe 25-year-old Brian?
He's actually 16. He's actually
but he can rip people's arms off.
But he can't rip people's arms off.
Gorillas are really strong, Billy.
Gorillas actually are. If
very
every animal on. All right, let's do something real quick.
Gorillas.
See a hairless chimpanzee.
A gorilla can bench
they're-
press 2,000
awesome.
pounds.
Wow. Okay, so what is of all the animals?
That's
on
a serious.
Earth,
That's like 10 men.
of all the animals on Earth, right? If
Yes.
they all fought, every species that are alive today. Let's not bring in Deinonychus or Velociraptor, or T-Rex, but every animal on Earth today got into a fight. Who would be on the top of the food chain? Who is the
Grizzly
toughest
bear.
animal? And not talking about humans because they have brains and we could shoot them all.
Grizzly. Grizzly or polar bear? Grizzly or polar bear?
You got it. Grizzly bear.
Really? You
Absolutely.
think so?
I think it would come down to a gorilla and a grizzly bear. But I think
And guess what's going to happen in a future issue of Six Gun Gorilla?
Yeah,
There's going to be a gorilla.
but unless the six gun gorilla would be the alpha animal.
Well, because the thing is, it's like when you have villains, when you have heroes, you have to put them up against formidable villains, and you have to put them up against formidable odds too. Yeah. It's not going to happen in this first arc. It's issues. This is a 10. The Liger. Oh well, they didn't have Ligers back in the Old West. Yeah,
you don't know that.
Total non sequitur. My late brother, he was at a volunteering at a animal shelter, and one day he comes in and they're like, "Yo, guess what we got today?" And he's like, "What?" And they're like, "A baby tiger." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, some asshat was selling it out of the back of like the trunk of his car at like the Mall of America."
That was my dad.
Oh, sorry to hear that. And so somebody was just like, hey, want a tiger? And somebody was like, yeah, I'm going to call 50.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So they were taking.
He was watching Tiger King. He'd been watching that too many times.
Well, this is years ago. This is like a list.
Okay.
Yeah. This is like decades ago, or a decade ago. And so of course they're like, so you want to see him? My brother's like, hell yeah! Like I want to get some lion cub cuddle, right? And so he's playing with this thing, right? And it's adorable and it's cute. And suddenly it goes, Freer! And grabs him.
No.
And he's just like, ugh. And he's thinking, oh my God. And this is a baby.
Yeah, it's a tiger.
How big of a tiger baby was it?
It was just a little cub. But it went Freer! And grabbed his arm. And he was just like, oh my God, if this thing were full sized or even half grown, my arm would be gone right now.
Word up.
For sure.
So
Speaking
yeah,
of Tiger King, Billy.
I still haven't watched that.
When Tom Lennon comes back on, have you seen his impression of Tiger King?
No.
We got to have him come on. If
right,
he would do it.
It's Thursday. I mean, you got to check it out, Brian. It's impossible. When you're watching that show, you're like, this is impossible that it's real. I couldn't write this. It's so insane.
I thought it was a
Stranger
spoof.
Than
I thought
Fiction,
it was
man.
like just a fake, just a comedy, thing.
Yeah.
But it's like 100% real.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you
Carol
wrote
Baskins,
you see this over and over again. I mean, it's such a cliche, but it's true. Truth is stranger than fiction. If you wrote some of the shit that's actually happened in real life, people would laugh at it. It would get laughed off the page. It would get laughed off the screen. People would be like, yeah, right. I'm like, no, this actually happened.
This is the real thing.
Yeah.
This is the real thing.
Yeah.
Now, Adam, you've mentioned TV a lot. You've mentioned things. I mean, our viewers out there, this is your first campaign. Let's get to know you and what else. Give us your backstory on what your background's in. Because we do have a lot of comic creators that we do have on the show have film backgrounds. A lot of them have actually gone to school for film and things like that.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I've been making television and film now for I guess 18 years professionally, and what my job is now is I'm a television showrunner. And I don't know if you're familiar with how television works, the showrunner is the person who designs the arc of the show and sees it through. So they're kind of like a director is in a movie, but for TV, they're the overseer of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And then in this case, on my latest show, Escape the Night, I also write and direct the show as well. So it's a lot of hats to wear. And we've done 4 awesome seasons. and it's been a really exciting adventure. It's a fantasy horror setting with lots of good laughs. It's for YouTube originals, and so there's a lot of influencers, and YouTube influencers are the stars of the show, and they're in this fantasy world with other actors and monsters and puzzles, and they get killed off, and they have to survive it. Except the stars of the show don't know the script, and everyone else does, and they just live the movie real time. So it's kind of an exciting thing because they go back in time, and each season is set in a new era, and there's a new evil, and so it's also been a great chance to play in fantasy because it's a fantasy story with all kinds of sorceresses and monsters and killers and a serial killer who kills people and then sets up mannequins afterwards as his trophies, and then on the lighter side we have a haunted gingerbread woman, and then we have the collector of the dead. And
is there trailers now? Can we play a trailer?
That's what I was trying to.
Yeah, absolutely. There's tons of trailers. So if you just look, Escape the Night season 3 trailer, that's a fun one to watch.
Escape the Night.
This is a YouTube series. Is that how we can see this?
Yeah, so it's called YouTube Originals, which it used to be that they're for pay, like their SVOD platform, and now they've just, as of late, they've broken that down, and so now all 4 seasons are available to watch. It used to be behind a paywall, but as a result, it was more like a regular studio show with studio resources and
nice.
But yeah, I think that's a fun one. I think season 3, I think maybe my personal favorite, was set in the 70s in this town, and there was this haunted carnival that had come. And
here, I've got the trailer here. Do you want to play it?
Dude, play
it for everyone. Let's check this out.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I know we're going to get into some other shows you did, and one of our producers, Brian Blevins, who works with us on the show, is sick. Got sick today. And,
he did?
Yeah, he got sick. Maybe, I don't know if it was something he ate or whatnot, but anyways, he's really bummed because he's a huge fan of 2 of your other shows that you had mentioned in the email. But let's check this out.
Oh, okay.
Hope he feels better.
Don't you dare hope that. He deserves it. All right.
My friend,
go full screen.
I'm going on an extraordinary adventure, and I'm in need of your help, and so are hundreds of others.
There's a town stuck in the 1970s that we have to save.
It's your lucky day! The carnival's in town!
We have a strong man,
A snake woman! Dolls with knives! It's like bloody Christmas every day! Just enjoy the carnival.
There's constellations on the wall. I need you guys to give me that code. If they find out my secret, I'm ruined.
She just so happens to have cards in the event that we need to vote each other to die.
Please stop, please!
Is Joey on our side, or is he just trying to kill us?
Come here, Daddy.
Done.
Here we go again.
Enjoy the ride!
That's cool.
That's fun, man.
That looks great,
fun, bro.
How did that come to be? Like, how did you get involved with that?
So back before it was a show, Joey Bassett, who's the star of the show, he'd gotten an opportunity to make a show for YouTube Originals, and he'd had idea about doing a murder mystery party. And then he and I met up. He met up with a lot of other showrunners, but I said, hey, Joey, I would like to do this thing where it's a fantasy, a make-believe instead of a reality show. And it's sexy and it's scary, and you're going to go back in time, and kind of set it in the 20s. This was for season 1. And he said, great, let's do that. And so it was off to the races. And at the time, you know, the network didn't quite know what I was making. They were like, Adam, what is this show? What are we going to see? You know, because it's this mashup of scripted and unscripted pieces and puzzles and scares and you know, visual effects. And so but fortunately they were replacing executives so quickly because it was coming together. No one quite caught up with me until it was shot. And but I had one great champion at the network who did believe in me. And anyways, then the show ended up being a great big hit, and we've done 4 seasons so far, and it's been really awesome. So that's how it came out to be. You know, I happened to be the right guy for Joey, and then the rest was, you know, was the history. And I think that, you know, my course of time, you know, as a television creator, I've done a lot of work in gaming spaces. You probably mentioned Tabletop and Spellslingers, and I've always thought, you know, what's the ultimate game, right? And it's to live the movie, and that's kind of how that became to be. And so yeah, that's how it came about. And then it's been really cool because YouTube Originals has been really supportive, and they've given, you know, bigger budgets and bigger scope as the seasons have gone on, and so it's a really good ride.
So in short, are you saying you want to do a show about me?
It always comes back to you.
I mean,
Nile,
like, I have time. Well, you know,
we all have time.
I am kind of, you know.
You're not busy right now,
I'm not
so I
busy.
should snatch it up.
So is this right? Here's the show. So is this ongoing still? Are you guys gonna do a 5th season?
So yeah, so things are all, you know, I can't reveal yes or no to those kind of questions as I'm under deep NDAs on these kinds of things.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but you know, it's all of those kinds of deals.
What's that?
He's the real deal.
He really is the real deal.
NDAs are legit. Or that's like it's your legit badge.
It's my cousin's an MD and a doctor, you know. He's a big deal too. Sorry,
Adam's like, what the hell am I doing on the show with these guys?
No, I'm having a great time. Are you kidding? But yeah, so it's a really exciting bit. And then, you know, kind of as I started, Escaped and I was finishing up a show called Tabletop with Will Wheaton, which I also did for 4 seasons, and it was super fun. It was a board gaming celebrity show. Love of gaming and game. Oh, there he is. There's the man.
D20 fought life.
Yes, and then I also did another show with Will called Titan's Grave. We built our own unique Dungeons and Dragons RPG style game, and then also Spellslingers is another. It's a celebrity Magic the Gathering show. If you can see a through line here, which is always fun because it's you're hanging out with somebody like Joe Manganiello, who is like the coolest badass dude, ultra athlete who just wants to play D&D.
My brother-in-law legit looks like him.
Really?
I love my brother-in-law, but I hate him. He's like a freaking Greek god, a sculpted.
Because you are ever in the back seat when you're with that guy. Yeah.
Is that Superboy?
No. My sister's my wife's sister's husband.
Oh, yeah, but aren't you related to Superboy too, or something?
My wife's my wife's mother's cousin played Superboy, on the TV series, the most recent one. I don't know how many Superboy shows they had. I think they might only had the one. It was like late 80s, maybe early 90s. Oh, he got so excited his screen blew up and popped back in.
Yeah, we lost Brian.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that, fellas. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so Blevins, is a huge fan of Spellslingers and all that. And when we got your email, we were going through it. I was reading it out loud because we were doing our meeting. We get together virtually because we're all this is all done. I mean, all of us are in different states.
Awesome.
And we were going through the emails. He's like, "Wait a minute, did you say Spellslingers?" And he's got a southern draw. He's from South Carolina, but he lives in Arkansas. It's like, is that Spellslingers? We're like, yeah. And he's like, oh shit, man, do you guys know who that is? And I'm like, oh shit, man. Yeah, no, huge fan of your stuff. So
he's our king fanboy.
Yeah, give a shout out to the Brian Blevins. He's a fan of your shows.
Yes. Brian Blevins, thank you. No, I appreciate it. I think that, I had this, I'd been in indie movies beforehand. Before moving into television, I'd done about 20 of them, a few as a producer, a lot as an assistant director on my way up. And, the thing about an indie movie is you make it and no one ever watches them. And so, but I remember there was this, yes, it's on Geek and Sundry. Yes. So I remember after I did a season of Tabletop, I was in Ohio visiting my brother-in-law, and I was at a Starbucks and I had the t-shirt on from the shoot, and he looks at me and he's like, "Oh, Tabletop, that's my favorite." And it was just the first time, after having done so much television, even where I'm products we won Academy Awards, so much film, and I'm just like, wait, this guy knows it? And it just like sold me forever in the magic of seeing a fan love something and how meaningful that was to know that this thing that you fought for and that you loved and that you squeezed out, and so many times you see all the warts on that others love. And it's and I'm sure the feeling as well too, Brian. And it's like
a little bit
that reward is indescribable.
It is
when we go to the premiere of Escape the Night and I see 6,000 fans there and you're backstage, we're talking to them and they're like, "This is going to be my whole summer is this." And you're just like, there really isn't anything else there's no award. There's no anything. This is just an honest kid whose whole summer you made. And that's, maybe that's the best feeling there is, right? In this world where we get to tell stories and create things that somebody's like, "Oh, that's the thing that I'm," whether they're reading a comic or watching a show, with my free time, I give it to your work.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? I've talked about that too, Billy, with my free time and my, money that I get discretionary, it's not my rent. I chose it with your stuff.
Yeah.
It's humbling, right?
It is.
We were
That's
talking about that on our
word.
last night's show we had Anthony Marquez on, comic creator, writer. He's the president of the Kubert School. And, we were just talking about how crazy is it that you go into doing these things, not realizing how it impacts people. And like Brian, you were talking about earlier, like it literally saves lives. Like you have no intention of doing that, but someone will come to you and say, "Your book or your show or this, that, like you saved my life. You gave me somewhere to escape to that allowed me to realize it was okay to keep moving forward with whatever their issue may be, great or small." You give them something they can escape into, and it becomes a part of them, and I think that's the most incredible thing. And then, if you guys do conventions or anything like that, when they come up to you, right, and they get that opportunity, that minute or two to talk to you, or even if you have 5 minutes to talk to them, like what they're getting right there, just to meet the person and to come asking for your autograph or for you to do this. That feeling is, euphoric. It's just like you're doing what you love, and really the expectation in the rewards are so much greater than I think anything you can really imagine.
I've also been really lucky. Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna say, Adam?
No, I was saying I was just agreeing with Mr. The Brain, and so
you can just call me Nile.
I've been lucky enough. I live. I've missed out on the opportunity to meet a lot of my heroes because of shyness, right? I missed out on an opportunity to meet Christopher Lee.
You could have met him?
I could have met him. I was in the same room with him. It was at the Virgin Megastore in Midtown Manhattan. 1999, 2000. A girl had just really done me wrong, and my self-esteem was at an all-time low. And so I went to this book signing, but I couldn't get on the line and meet him because I was afraid, if I talk to him and he says, "Sir, you are a bloody fool," I'm going to have to throw myself off a bridge. So, right. So I was just hanging out, by the bookshelf, pretending that I was browsing the bookshelves, and would just get as close as I could to where he was and would just look over. And you know, I'm at a point now, thank goodness, where I can go to like, you know, conventions and I can walk right up to people. And we have a Alamo Draft House in Yonkers, New York, and Yankees. And it's close enough to New York City that they get amazing guests. And I can't tell you what it's like. It's so wonderful to be able to like go up to some of these filmmakers whose movies helped me survive my childhood and to be able to tell them, you helped me survive my childhood. Oh, and by the way, I've enjoyed your art here. Please enjoy some of mine or not, but either way. And every time I always ask them, do you like comic books? And they're always like, yeah. And I'm like, please read my comic. I'm not expecting anything. I'm not expecting you to like hit me up for like an option or anything like that. I just, your art has changed my life. I have an opportunity now to share my art with somebody whose art has been instrumental in my formation and my survival. And that's just, that's such a great feeling, man. It's great to be able to do that.
Done.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, life's too short, man. You know, I had done that
It
too
is.
with some World War II veterans and stuff, and that was the people I admire. You know, those are the people I geeked out over. And I remember one time my wife came downstairs and I had Gabby Gabreski was our highest scoring fighter pilot ace in the European theater. Wow. And he had shot down. He was 31 confirmed kills. 29 in World War II, and then another 6 in Europe, or whatever it was. I think it was an ace. It might have been 35 kills, whatever, mid kills in Korea. And so my wife comes downstairs and sees me in the phone book. I got the phone book, you know what I mean? And I'm writing his phone number. I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, not what? And she's like, oh my God, you're stalking World War II veterans. And I found out where he lived, and he probably lived about a half hour away from me. And and I was too nervous to call him to ask him to just take him to lunch. You know what I mean? And so, but when he passed away, I went to his funeral and I told his daughter that. I introduced myself to his daughter. And she's like, are you kidding me? My mom died about 7 years ago and he was alone. He would have loved that. You know what I mean? So you got to take that opportunity. Yeah.
You do. And you'd be surprised at how humble these people are and how touched they are, especially when like the last guy I met was Don Coscarelli, you know, who did Phantasm, and which was a very formative movie for me. And you know, it was great because, you know, he was there to sign his book and also to present a screening of Phantasm, new 4K restoration, right? And I came out to go to the bathroom because I've seen the movie 800 times. I know when to go pee, right?
Yeah.
And I came out, and he was in the lobby, and he was pacing back and forth, and I was just like, hey, what up, Don? And he was like, how's it going in there? I was like, really? Like, he was like genuinely like a little nervous, like he had like butterflies. Because he knew a lot of people, you know, maybe hadn't seen the movie yet or something. Mm-hmm. But most of the people there were fans. And I was just like, dude, it's freaking Phantasm. Everybody's loving it. Mellow out.
Yeah. You're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. But like, you know, it was beautiful to see that degree of humility and to see the young man or the boy that because so many of us, you know, you like to think that you're not there's a difference between childish and childlike, and very often creative people are very childlike, and you see that enthusiasm. And but yeah, no, like beautiful experiences like that. I got to meet Barbara Steele. That was
cool.
That was the legendary horror film goddess, you know, who I had such a crush on when I was a little boy. I used to, you know, pretend I lived in a castle with her and everything. And, you know, life is too short. And that's why, you know, if I take friends to like the Chiller convention, they see somebody, they're a little starstruck. I'm like, come on, let's go over and meet this person. 9 times out of 10, people say, don't meet your heroes. I say BS, you know. that's not to say everybody's always going to be great and gracious, but life is too short, and you'll be surprised very often how moved these folks are that people still care about them.
Yeah, I mean, I one day just got in my car, got on a ferry, head over to Long Island, looked up a guy in the phone book, knocked on his door. I said, "Hey, you Billy Tucci?" He said, "Yeah, who are you?" I said, "We're going to do a show." He said, "Yeah?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah."
About what?
I said, "Yeah." He said, "What's it about?" I said, "Don't worry about it."
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
We exchanged emails, and I said, "You're going to do it with me and what's his face over there."
I said, "What, on the YouTube, on the Facebook?"
Nah, but yeah, I hear you, man. You can't have fear with it, I mean, most people are pretty genuine and whatnot, but we've had you guys now on. It's almost 2 hours. It's been a great show with you guys.
Thank you so much.
Brian, do you have any other books or anything coming down the queue? Coming out of the queue?
Well, I do. I mean, right now the campaign is for Six Gun Gorilla, the Big Gundown, which is the latest, is technically issue number 7 of the Six Gun Gorilla saga, and every issue, every chapter is named after named after the title of an Italian Western from the 60s and the 70s. This one's called the Big Gundown because, well, it's got a big old massacre in it. This is the previous issue. The heroes got their asses handed to them, and this is them striking back. This is what some people would call the second act climax. And you can get that by itself for $15, or you can get the trade paperback, which is issues 1 through 6, with a brand new variant cover by Kane and White for $35. I hate to charge $35 for a comic, but it's not one comic, it's 6 comics. And you can see the colors and everything really pop. It's a beautiful book. I guarantee that you're gonna like it. I wish I could offer a money back guarantee if it weren't for certain people out there who shall remain nameless.
Oh, what does that mean? Now I'm curious. Well, you can't say that.
Well, a certain PP, if you know what I'm talking about.
We'll discuss. We can discuss off the
air. Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm curious now to know.
Talking the after show.
And real quick, I just want to say, everybody, going back, Captain Love. This is by my friend Drew Eash. This is a wonderful book. If you like old school science fiction, if you like if you're a pulp lit freak like me, you're going to love this. Or you'll love your Flash Gordon, your Buck Rogers. This is right up your alley. And also, I don't have the book yet because it's not out yet, but my man, Preston Acevedo, he's going to be illustrating Six Gun Gorilla issue number 8, Cemetery Without Crosses. And he has a book out right now.
Nice
and great title.
And wait until you get to see what the Cemetery Without Crosses is. Because it's well, I don't know. You'll see. I'm psyched to I'm not gonna tell. I'm keeping my lip buttons. But he's got a book out right now called Doc Salem, which is basically Victor Frankenstein turning himself into a superhero to make up for all the evil that he caused by creating the monster. And that's a great book. It's funded, it's doing well, but it deserves more attention. So people go check out Doc Salem.
Here.
Awesome. And Adam, what else do you have? Anything coming out of your queue soon?
So right now this is my number one thing, and everything else, unfortunately, is under those nasty things called NDAs. But in the personal, this is it. And I guess I would say my second thing is I have a role-playing game called Asunder that has been in the works for the last ages, that will hopefully be out later this year. I'll leave it at that. It doesn't have something that you can jump to right now, but that's what's coming.
I was going to ask.
Now, obviously, you've done 2 shows now, basically in the realm of tabletop gaming and things of that nature. So, is that something that is a big hobby of yours that you grew up doing?
Yeah, it's funny because I grew up playing Dungeons and Dragons and collecting comics and playing Magic the Gathering. They were a part of my core of my childhood. And then the crazy thing is then, through college and my first working years in Hollywood, they I shouldn't say I abandoned them, but they just slipped more to the back burner.
Yeah.
And then I got a call to do Tabletop from a good friend of mine, and she'd been and said, "Hey, Adam, could you come produce this show?" And then that reinvigorated the whole thing. And then it brought all the board gaming back. And then I've done a lot of work with Dungeons and Dragons, who is also owned by Hasbro, who owns Magic the Gathering, and it all just kind of became that whole family. And then my childhood sort of came back to meet me, at 30, and that was really a special thing. And so for the last decade, I've been, deep in that. And so, it's funny because I did Force Grey, which is Dungeons and Dragons, Titan's Grave, which is a pseudo Dungeons and Dragons type story, Tabletop, Spellslingers, and then this other one called Sagas of Sundry, which deals with the game called Dread, that's been sort of brought off the table into this improvised haunted theater experience. I'll leave it at that, but it was also legendary.
Awesome.
Where are you from, and where do you
awesome.
and where do you live now? Are you out west now?
Yeah, I'm in Burbank.
Okay.
I'm in Burbank now. I was kind of a mutt, Minnesota, Massachusetts, North Carolina, Michigan, Utah, on the way to Los Angeles.
Mhm.
So, but now this is home for me. So I've been here for 17 years, and it's
good,
awesome.
man.
That's exceptional.
It's good to see your guys' success. In the stuff you're doing.
Appreciate you promoting it. Thank you.
Oh, anytime you guys have anything come on the show, we're glad to talk about it, try to get our viewers on. And if both of you don't mind hanging out just a couple minutes after the show,
sure.
bring up some stuff to you guys that we'll be announcing tomorrow. So again, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Yeah,
Adam,
thank you.
Both your books are fantastic. I will back them after the show. I don't like doing it live because you'll see.
Don't feel obliged.
Yes, we will. Definitely. No, we will for sure.
It's not for everybody.
I love it. I love both of what you guys are putting down.
Yeah. So it's called The Eighth. It's on Indiegogo. You can back it now.
Oh, so good.
It's a good ride. It's worth the ride. You can watch the animation. It only takes a minute, 20 seconds. And if you don't like it, then no problem. But if you do, back it, or if nothing else, spread the love. It would be much appreciated.
So we at least got you 7. We know we've got you. You're at 60 backers. So if Brian's 53, you've definitely got 7 more backers. Yeah, that we know of.
It's been an amazing chat. Thank you.
And Adam, and we'll have you back on, Adam, when we come to when it's coming, near the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're doing a big push at the end, we can have you back on. Do a show with you and help push the rest of it. And, so get that. There's 47 days left on this project, guys. He's 22% funded. So let's get it out there. Share it on Twitter. Share it on your Facebook. Get it on Instagram. Anywhere you want. Throw it on Tinder. Who cares, right? Just get it out there. Make sure you just keep pushing this book.
Why not?
It's what's great about these, and as a fan of film like I am, that's what these 2 books are. These are like 2 amazing movies in print.
Yeah, they really are. You guys,
and it's like both these books are like nothing out there right now.
Yeah.
Right. People have tried to do it before, but these guys got it done. So make sure to get out there.
Thank you. Nice, Nile.
There's 2 days left on Six Gun Gorilla, the big Gundown. So you're killing it on this. You're 1,769% funded. Keep pushing it, guys. 2 days to go. And then will you be in demand?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'm hoping to break to join the 10K club because it's that way I know for sure that the next book is going to be funded, because before I run the next campaign, I would like to have, my preference is to have issue 8 finished before I launch the campaign.
Okay. You need 10 figures for this. Let's give 5 figures. Hey, 10 figures, why not? But let's get 5 figures. Sure. Now,
I'll take 6. I'll settle for a lowly 6.
Yeah, right.
We all need 10 figures. That'd be great. Put that in my
thank you. Thank you, fellas. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for what you do.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
And everyone, thanks so much.
Thank you for hanging on and listening to our words.
Yes.
No, you guys are brilliant, both of you. You know what I mean? And we would talk about you guys all day. So this is a real joy. And thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. You guys are extraordinary. You really are.
And to our admins out there, great job in the chat. Thanks for all the great questions. And we will see all you guys next week with another new episode. And keep an eye out on your social media feeds, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Possibly we may go live for a little bit tomorrow. We got to see how that all works out. But we've got a big announcement tomorrow. So everyone have a great night, and we will see you soon. So
peace, love, and soul.
See you.
Just hang tight. I'm going to send you guys backstage. And there we go. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into Crowdfunding Comics. We look forward to hanging out with all of our crowdfunding fans every time we go live. And don't forget to click the link below and subscribe to our channel. And there's a little bell. You may want to hit that too. This way you get all the great notifications when we go live and when we upload some awesome content. You want to follow us? Sure, go right ahead at Twitter at CrowdFundComics with an X, Instagram Crowdfunding Comics, and Facebook at Crowdfunding Comics. Till next time, crowdfunding fans, we'll see you soon.